Folks, they opened the show with a whole lot of passion and soul and amazing energy from Southern Avenue. Please welcome Ori Naftali and Tierney Jackson. Exceptional, guys. It was about 2 or 3 years ago, you visited us last, I believe, as the Ori Naftali Band, and you describe in your bio about kind of reconfiguring and rethinking and making it more of a partnership, co-writing songs. So why don't we pick it up from there? When how many years had you been together, and then what kind of conversations led to a different kind of working partnership?
Well, I had a great time touring the country and doing the solo thing, even though I don't sing. But when I met Tierney, I felt like this is something different, and we should, for the first time in my life, be a partner, part of a team, and kind of let others also take charge and kind of, and not just all about me. And it felt great. It felt great to be in a place where I have other people that are as passionate about doing my kind of music that I like with Tierney. And when she introduced me to her sister, then I really felt like, okay, this is really something special here. It took us a month, like even a couple of weeks before we realized that we need to do something different. And once we decided on it, I think it was in August 15, everything was very, very quick. And we got signed in, I guess, about half a year since we started the band. I'm feeling very blessed to have Tierney as a musical partner.
With Memphis as the base of operations, and I imagine the place that you all worked out the sound on a night-by-night basis, played a lot of nights because it obviously is a hugely musical town. But how did the venues? Did you have a home base? Did you rotate around? Just talk about how you used Memphis as a platform to find this sound. And
well, I remember that where Ori was staying at, he was staying with a friend of ours. It was it was on Cox, but it was right near Southern Avenue, and that pretty much was where Southern Avenue created. We had our first, because I had my solo stuff going too, and he was like, we need to make this us, and it was really hard for me to let go at first. But I remember accepting the fact that this was meant to be right there in the living room in that house that was right there near Southern Avenue, and that was kind of where we began to write songs every day, right there on Southern Avenue. And we had a venue called the Buccaneer where we just did there was no guarantee pay, but everything that we wrote, we created our show there in that venue every week before we developed a name, and we eventually developed a nice little following there for free. So we kind of just created Southern Avenue there in that house right near the street. And then in Midtown up the street was a place called the Buccaneer where we just tried everything out and kind of developed the sound. That's
great. I can picture that. Now, you guys could have incredibly different backgrounds. I think you and your sister Nash are Memphis natives. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit, about your origins in that amazing city. Not always an easy city to live in, but a city with such history. And meeting a fellow from Israel who came over we're going to get to that in a minute, came over on a blues guitar contest and stayed. But how have you guys merged your backgrounds?
It's funny because music is just a melting pot of gospel, of blues, of jazz. It's a melting pot. And he had a love for the city in a different way that my sister and I had a love for the city, because we were raised in the church and we were so sheltered that we weren't really allowed to listen to any of those other genres, right? Until we got to a certain age when we started gigging with a bunch of different party bands, and they were like, this is Memphis music, you need to study this, and that. And so, and so suddenly once we freed ourselves from, our parents and just the whole, just being sheltered in the church, we submerged ourselves in Memphis music. And we met a ton of people who had an appreciation for it. And we also met Ori, who had just, not only did he have a special appreciation for it, but we had a chemistry. And it clicked, So my sister and I, we didn't know much about Memphis music, but we knew the basics, you
were kind of each discovering it in your own way.
And in a way, we were Memphis music because we were raised in the church, we created gospel music. We created, soul music from praise music. So we're a part of like the Memphis history of music, and we got submerged and introduced into like a whole new world of it just a few years ago, and we're kind of in this journey together, and I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is a beautiful thing. Ori, when did you first set sight on Memphis, and what went through your head? How did you find the soul of the city for you?
One of my first records ever was Albert King, and it was a Stax record. So I grew up on Stax music and Memphis music. When I first realized about the opportunity to come and represent Israel at this International Blues Challenge in Memphis, it was a dream come true, because I'm going to get to come to Memphis and experience it. It's a whole different level to relocate and kind of jump in the water and then learn how to swim. Anything from visas to actual like touring in the country. Like, I come from a country that it takes 4 hours to cross, north to south, and 20 minutes west to east. So when I have a show booked in Wyoming and I'm somewhere in Florida and I need to make it, it's a whole different.
Wow.
So it's really learning how to swim, and so for me, coming to Memphis is really, all of my dreams were already made. Like as a kid, I already made those. Now it's trying to be consistent, a student of the music, but also what we do is, we create the music we think is the best for us. We don't really have a genre. We kind of cross that genre. That's why we just call it Memphis music, because Memphis is blues, soul, rock and roll, a lot of bluegrass. There's a lot of things going on in Memphis that are not just B.B. King, which is great. And I don't. But we really do our thing, and because of our influences, it just comes out as Memphis music.
Awesome. Well, there's nothing more Memphis than Stax, and in February this record will come out, self-titled, debut for Southern Avenue. And just before we go here, quickly, what did it feel like to make this record, knowing that it was going to have that, or did you know it was going to have that marquee on it?
In a short, we recorded 5 songs for barely $1,000 on loan from my parents, and we went into the International Blues Challenge representing Memphis last year, and we made it to the finals. We sent the EP through a lot of people, and Concord Stax got to that through Luther Dickinson, which is on the record. And
Luther of the North Mississippi All-Stars.
And then we recorded 6 or 7 more at the Zebra Ranch in Mississippi at Jim Dickinson's studio. And that combination together is the record.
Okay.
And we never thought that Stax would love the original 5 songs. We were like, so you want us to record new songs? Or like, so no. What you got is good. Mm-hmm. Just give us 2 more so we can pick, and that's it. So we were very, very emotional when we realized that what they like is not just who we are and our history and how we look and all that. It's actually those songs we wrote in the first week of us deciding to be a band. Yeah. And that's what made us feel proud. Everything else is kind of an egotistical kind of, thing.
That's allowed a little bit.
Yeah, but the fact that they love what we did in a naive sort of way, and not thinking about organically, that I think that's what I think, right?
Great.
We feel great about.
Well, we do too. I'm looking forward to hearing this so much. Ori, Tierney, so good to have you. Southern Avenue, watch for that record.
Thank you.
February 24th, I think?
Yeah, February 24th.
Gonna be great. Thanks, guys.